If you haven't seen it yet, I just posted a video of me one-shotting both Uber Lilith forms, and this is how I did it. First, you need a Blood Artisan's Cuirass. Its unique effect of launching off free bone spirits after consuming blood orbs is what enables this build. For quick reference, as you probably haven't seen it used very often, Bone Spirit is a high damage ability that normally consumes all of your essence. It's overshadowed by Bone Spear, so it hasn't seen much use. What's interesting about this effect is that there is no limit to how many blood orbs you can consume. There's no internal cooldown or anything like that, which means you can store up unlimited damage so long as you can generate enough blood orbs. For now at least, we're fortunate that blood orbs don't expire. So long as you stay in the same zone, they appear to last forever. This combination of mechanics means we can enter the Echo of Lilith boss room, where the fight doesn't start until you get close enough. This lets us prepare huge stacks of blood orbs in peace, each of which represents a portion of banked up damage thanks to our Blood Artisan's Cuirass. The method I personally used for this was speccing into Blood Wave up to the Blood Orb bonus. With the tidal aspect making it fire a total of 3 waves, we are able to generate 9 blood orbs per cast. The blood orbs themselves appear at 3 different sections along the path of the Blood Wave. There appear to be designated positions they can spawn on, and when they are all filled, every future orb will occupy one position. This creates a very dense and impressive looking mega orb. I've spent most of my time working on blood builds, so I have hardly any critical hit, vulnerable damage, and bone damage gear or aspects. I'll go over the damage optimizations later in more detail, but for now, it's important to know that my bone spirits were averaging about 10 million damage each. My unique only takes 5 orbs to spawn a bone spirit, so each blood orb is worth about 2 million damage, and each section of blood orbs is worth 6 million damage per cast. It's a little lower for the closest stack as you automatically consume some orbs, but fortunately this stack only has to take down the last sliver of Lilith's health after the intermissions, so it doesn't really matter. I don't know of any official HP counts for the different forms, but rounding up to be safe, I'm guessing it's about 300 million for the first form and 500 million for the second. With my lower damage setup, this means I need to cast 83 blood waves to have enough damage to take down the second form in one hit. Believe me, that's not a pleasant prospect, but that's the trade-off for cheesing Lilith and facing no mechanics. With better gear, Paragons, and aspects, you could drastically reduce the preparation time needed. On the other hand, the interesting thing about this is that your gear doesn't really matter all too much. It just means you have to prepare for longer. You never take damage, so health and damage reductions aren't even a factor. To speed things up beyond simply having more damage, for the preparation phase, I equipped a focus for the innate cooldown reduction, which also has a cooldown reduction roll. You can also roll this on your helm and amulet, which I did not have. This left me with a 39-second cooldown on my Blood Wave. That comes out to 53 minutes of casting Blood Wave. In the kill video, I went for 75 minutes just to be sure. Don't get me wrong, this was a very unpleasant experience for me. It was made a little better by putting Diablo on window mode and moving it to the second screen. I used this website to set up a timer that would beep every 40 seconds, reminding me to cast it. I spent the rest of my time watching YouTube and just doing whatever else. I chose to stand in this spot here for a few important reasons. Lilith lands 3 times during the fight, in the middle, at the top, and down at the bottom. These positions conveniently line up with the blood orb clusters. Standing off center meant that the orbs benefited somewhat from the aspect of Swelling Curse for more bone spirit damage. It also meant I wouldn't get blocked or caught up on Bone Prison if I had to jump right under the boss. I also didn't know the fight mechanics and was scared of randomly dying, so having a little distance was comforting. Using this Blood Wave lineup, the middle cluster is used to insta-kill her first form. The top cluster insta-kills her second form, and the bottom cluster finishes off the last little bit of HP after she goes through all those forced intermissions. In her first phase, you can actually kill her before she spawns a pustule, but I was playing it safe and took a little too long. I simply used Blood Mist to avoid the damage. I can say with confidence that paying attention to these pustules is very important. In my second overall attempt, I was standing to the right of the boss and had no idea there was a pustule over to the left. You can just see it at the edge of the screen here, and it killed me during the intermission, which was brutal. Outside of sneaky pustules, there are actually no other direct boss related threats for the rest of the fight. After blasting the second form, which cannot die at this point by the way, she goes through all of the stage transitions back to back. You need to avoid the black ground that explodes, taking temporary refuge with the boss before returning to the arena when it's clear. You have to do this for the 3 stage breaks before she finally lands and can be damaged again. You can likely walk right onto the orbs without any damage set up to finish her. I was once again just playing it safe. Alrighty, when it comes to your actual build, gear, aspects, paragons and so on, it's quite flexible. As I mentioned before, my gear for this was terribly optimized. My tendrils aspect is a mid-roll, and I still had darkness aspects equipped. Any bone spear or bone spirit set of gear and paragons will likely do just fine. Still, I put together a quick build guide that's linked below. It's probably not entirely optimal as scaling bone damage isn't something I've spent much time on, but if you're dedicated to making the preparation as fast as possible, you can use this as a reference. I'll go over some of the key points to scaling your damage for this fight. For the preparation phase of spamming blood waves, we want a focus for cooldown reduction and any other CDR gear like a helm or amulet. When it's time to go for the kill, swap to a 2-hand sword for maximum crit damage. Swap any other CDR pieces for gear with the highest damage potential. Use a heady precision elixir for the crit damage bonus. If your crit chance is quite low, then use an elixir of cruelty for the 15% extra crit chance. Elixir of resourcefulness is decent too, but the free bone spirits don't get that 3% damage bonus, so this only affects your ossified essence passive. There are a few different ways you can approach this. My favourite is swapping out Blood Wave after the prep for Bone Storm for that 20% crit chance bonus. I saved this for Lilith's second higher health form. Blood Mist to avoid mechanics and to spawn corpses with the Ghastly upgrade. This is useful before the fight to stack your Flesh Eater to 4. This means you only need to consume 1 more corpse to proc the 40% extra damage from the Corpse Eater legendary node. Corpse Tendrils is there to proc the Grasping Tendrils aspect for more crit chance and crit damage. It also has the vulnerable upgrade just in case, but it's not our only source of it. I had Decrepify slotted at the time, but really it's not doing much for us in this fight. Bone Prison with the vulnerable upgrade is a reliable way for us to apply it, and it also guarantees us fast and numerous corpses. For whatever reason, applications of vulnerable can proc hewed flesh, and the Bone Prison rapidly applies their status, so it's a great corpse battery. Please don't change this, Blizzard, or at least make it an intended function. And finally, Corpse Explosion to proc your Flesh Eater. After setting up your Blood Waves and Blood Orb stacks, move toward the center, staying clear of the dense orbs so you don't accidentally consume them. Cast Bone Prison, Corpse Tendrils, Corpse Explosion, then dive bomb your orbs, getting nice and close to the boss to activate any close damage bonuses. In the intermission before her second form appears, cast Corpse Explosion to get your Flesh Eater stacks back up to 4. You should have enough corpses from Bone Prison, but if not, you can use your Blood Mist to spawn some more. Before she fully forms, activate your Bone Storm, then do the same rotation again. Bone Prison, Corpse Tendrils, Corpse Explosion, then dive bomb your Blood Orbs. Now, you just need to avoid the exploding floor while she destroys the 3 sections of the arena. When she finally lands at the end and can be damaged again, you could simply walk into your stack immediately and that should be lethal damage. You can precast Tendrils on a corpse and Bone Prison just to be sure. And there you have it, a super cheesy but reliable method of instantly killing Uber Lilith. This particular build won't function well in Nightmares or the World, but with some slight variations, this unique can actually perform really well. I haven't finished the build as there is only so much time and it may need to wait for next season, but hopefully I'll be able to share it with you all soon. Thanks so much for watching, be sure to subscribe for more content like this, and I'll catch you in the next one.